Read all about it. It's the Weekly Crumbs.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to What a Barb, a Pollen podcast. I'm Ovs. I have my Crumbs Queen Beans with me today because we thought we'd pop in with a cheeky little weekly crumb, bringing those back from the dead beans.
Yep.
Because my, things are busy in the ton.
Busy, woohoo.
It's just going to be a quick little catch-up. We're not going to go into too much detail because we've got nothing but time ahead of us to do that.
Yeah.
But I thought, come on, Beans. It's a bit of a celebratory week. We've had season 4 news. We celebrate in the beginning of production. We've had today, as we record, the very first filming leaks. It feels like a bit of tradition to get on and have a chat about it. How are you doing, babe, quickly? You've had a bit of a shit week.
Yeah, so have you, so condolences. My week's just been up and down, and today wasn't so bad. I was supposed to be working like a 15-hour day, but then I got divided up into 2 different things, so I'm going to take a nap after this.
Yeah, she's going to have a nap. We've forced you onto the microphone.
Yeah, but Thursday is going to be a rough day, and so is Friday. And then Saturday I have to pay rent, so I'm going to have no money.
Let's see if we can cheer you up with a sprinkle of crumbs. The churro truck is back, my love.
Yay!
Let's kick things off. Beans, you've been able to call off the search because last week Netflix officially confirmed the casting of Yerin Ha as Sophie.
They sure did.
As you all know, Yerin's casting had been leaked a few weeks ago by Variety.
Yeah.
It was lovely to hear her being officially welcomed into the family. And of course, we got that promo video of her walking around, touching the costumes on the rail. There was dresses, there were silver gloves. Oh, we always have to have a little bit of an iconic welcome back to production and a little casting announcement.
I know. And honestly, I think it's definitely a tradition that started since season 3, because season 2 didn't have the back to filming thing, obviously because of COVID and everything. And then after season 2, season 1 was super successful, but season 2 exploded and sort of like made Bridgerton into what it is today. So it's like definitely interesting
to see the growth of the show.
Yeah.
Well as that video, a couple of articles were released on Shondaland Antidom to mark the occasion, and we learned a little bit more about Sophie. We found out that Sophie, who as we know is known in the book as Sophie Beckett, will be known as Sophie Beck. So in one of the articles, Sophie was described as a victim of tragic events, forced to spend much of her life working for the most demanding employer in the ton. We'll get to her in a minute. But the resourceful Sophie always finds a way to persevere through her circumstances which will drastically change after she disguises herself to attend Violet Bridgerton's masquerade ball and meets Benedict.
Ooh.
And in that casting announcement, Yerin said of her character that what drew her to Sophie was that she immediately has obstacles, something that she constantly has to overcome, whether it's in this battle around social status or trying to hide her feelings from Benedict.
Oh my gosh.
So that got everyone very excited because we all knew that filming was about to kick off any day, which it has well and truly, because earlier this week it was confirmed that production has begun on season 4, and the news was celebrated with the first ever on-set photo shoot of Yerin and Luke. Mm-hmm. This is kind of equivalent to the carriage video that we had for season 3.
Yeah.
But it was this beautiful photo shoot. Beans, what did you think?
I thought it was a lovely photo shoot. Somebody pointed out the height difference between the two of them, because Luke Thompson is a little bit shorter than Luke Newton by like an inch, but it's the same height difference
between Luke and Yerin and Luke Newton and Nicola.
So that's really cute. We love a good height difference. I would love to see Bridgerton do the opposite and Gregory ends up being really short and then has a really tall girlfriend, because that's the next Bridgerton brother. Yeah, it was a really lovely photo shoot. Good styling, whoever did the styling.
Amazing to see them together on that set, which again, we will come into that set in a bit because that's quite exciting in itself.
Yeah.
But again, more interviews were released to celebrate the news that season 4 was underway. And Luke and Yerin were asked what we can expect from Benedict and Sophie this season. And Luke talked about that Cinderella storyline, saying it's a really nice mix of fairy tale and reality. So Cinderella, but with that classic Bridgerton twist.
Right.
And he says that he remembers being told these stories as a child and talked about the magic and the romance of them. And it's exciting to have that weaved into the world that we know of Bridgerton. It's such a great story and he hopes really relatable. And then Yerin said, you can expect this emotional tug of war, this kind of push and pull between what their hearts desire and what society desires for them. So in a way, season 3 played with that kind of notion. I mean, the classic Lady Whistledown.
Yeah.
Is it our minds, hearts?
So diddly parts.
But Benedict and Sophie's story is really about society.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it too much for you because we're going to get there eventually and we're going to retell the story to you, but it has a much bigger presence and a much bigger obstacle for them. Yerin talked about the character arcs and she had really fascinating perspective. She used the word prismatic to describe the character arcs. And when she was asked what she meant by that, she said, it's like the property itself of the prism, like when light comes in and then it goes into a rainbow. I'm using that as a metaphor for the character of Sophie for before she meets Benedict and after. So this light source that bursts into a rainbow when she meets him. How gorgeous is that?
Aww.
And we have seen their meeting, we have seen the masquerade, and we have the audition script, a reversion of the final script.
Yeah.
So we have all these pieces to put together into how that explosion happens. And Yerin talked about that audition, funnily enough. She says that during the audition process, there was a theme with masks that was running throughout the whole process. And it was really about questioning, when does Sophie put on this mask to cover her emotions, or vice versa? When does she take it off and when does she soften up? Playing with those questions is really fun.
Yeah.
So we shared that audition script quite a while ago. And again, we don't know if that's going to be the final script for the show or if that's just something that they had in place.
Right.
But if you remember, Beans, you could see that happening in that script where they had this very genuine, playful, romantic connection. But she was evasive and she was dancing, quite literally dancing around each other.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating to hear Yerin's perspective of Sophie already because it sounds like she has this grasp of her character.
It's also interesting because I wonder if they're doing the same thing that they've done for the past 2 seasons where they only get the scripts for each block.
As they go.
Yeah. Did they get like an outline, like Luke and Nicola get an outline of their characters?
Yeah, so Luke and Nicola met with Jess Brownell, the showrunner, and had a very, very in-depth overview of exactly what was going to happen. So when we talk about blocks, if you're quite new to the podcast, blocks are how they film. So they film 2 episodes at a time. So they'll film episodes 1 and 2 together, episodes 3 and 4 together. And usually how it works is the scripts are shared with the cast in blocks. So they'll be getting their scripts for episode 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. And some of the other cast might not know. In season 2, Luke Newton said that he didn't know really how his story arc was going to go the whole way. He only knew as he got those scripts. But when he was the lead with Nicola, they had a very detailed overview exactly what was going to happen. So Yerin and Luke Thompson here will definitely know. They might not know the exact wording, but they'll know the journey that they're going to go on. Because I think with Yerin and with Sophie, we don't know her at all, unlike season 3 where we knew those 2 characters so well. So it's going to be amazing to see her with such a grasp of her character really burst onto the screen. It'll be like meeting Kate again. But someone who we do know pretty well by now is Benedict. I think he'll agree, Beans.
Yeah, we sure do. And yet we don't know him at all.
Well, the man behind the mask. You know what? Luke said that with Benedict, it's always been about trying to find that solid thing that he's able to feel himself commit to something rather than flit about. He's a man of many interests, and that's great in some ways. And in some ways, though, that can betray a sense of being lost or a little bit restless. So he is this character who can't settle. He has his passion for art, which I so hope returns in season 4. He's also been leading the family in Anthony's absence, and he's been really good at it. But I think because he is himself all these different facets, he can't settle and commit and find that solid ground beneath him that Sophie hopefully will provide eventually. And then Beans, a last little Banoffee Crumb before we delve in to see how everyone else is doing in the ton. They talked a lot about the dancing and how important that is in creating their character. And they said that it's been really special and very vulnerable. And Yerin said that their dancing is like an extension of their emotions and a way for them to connect. And I think that's what we're going to see because without spoiling it too much, Beans, they meet at the masquerade as this lady in silver and, well, Zorro, apparently.
Right, so dancing's going to be so integrated in their love story.
And they have this really important meeting. It isn't like a slow burn with Pollen where they've known each other since they were kids. And so this moment at the masquerade, this conversation has to have that huge, I mean, it's love at first sight, the trope that they're playing with. That has to have that power there. And so dancing isn't just a movement. It has to be a language of that connection that they find.
Right.
And then, of course, as I said earlier, Sophie's surname has been changed from Beckett to Beck. a Korean name that will honour Yerin's culture. And she spoke to Stidham about how important this was for her and for Sophie and the process of really being able to find Sophie as a character. And she said that a name is the first bit of identity you share with the world, and that's why changing a name can be so powerful.
Aww.
To make Sophie's name fit someone who looks like me is really empowering. All credit to Jess Brownell, our showrunner. It's a really nice way for me to feel like this role is fit for me, rather than me having to fit a certain mould. It's amazing what it can do, just in a psychological sense. So it means a lot that Jess did that for me.
Aww.
I love what she said about she didn't have to fit a mould.
Yeah.
The role was hers, and she can go in and create that.
Oh my God.
I just think she has such fascinating insight on her character, which
Right.
I think to go from characters which we already knew so well to this brand new character again is really exciting. And especially with someone like Sophie, who spends a lot of time masking who she really is or how she feels or how she navigates the world as a survival skill.
Yeah.
So, Beans, sum it up. What is it that you're most excited for?
I think I'm most excited for Sophie. I'm not gonna lie.
She's one of our favourites, to be fair. When we've talked about her, like, we do have a big soft spot for her. She's just gentle but so resilient. And I think that's just a really admirable combination of character traits.
Right. I do love Ben, but I'm just excited for Sophie, and I'm excited for how they're taking her role and how they're introducing. I'm hoping that they introduce Korean traditions and customs and stuff, because there's a lot of really fun stuff within Korean traditions that they could add into the era.
You've lived in Korea, haven't you, Beans?
Yeah, so my ex was Korean and we were together for 10 years, and I went back and forth to Korea for 10 years, and I've grown to like really love the culture and the language and the food and everything. And one of my favorite things there was just how rich their history is, and I hope that they include some of the fashion. They have something called hanboks, which are beautiful but simple, and they can be intricate, and so it'd be so interesting to see how the fashion designers include that. So yeah, I think I'm most excited for her because it's just so exciting to always see representation for other people, to see themselves on screen, to see themselves be celebrated.
And a love story, the most joyous story you can tell, ultimately.
Right.
And it's interesting what you said about fashion, because obviously, as this filming leaks will go into, she has a ball gown on when she is the lady in silver. But the rest of the time, and I think Erin talked about this as well, how, you know, she never saw herself as wearing Regency Maid costuming. But now she is, and her character, I mean, we've gone from Penn's costume journey was a glow up.
Yeah.
It was the exact opposite. Whereas with Sophie, she's a maid. And I think what you said there is really interesting, because it's how are we going to find that character and show that character through her maid's costuming.
Right.
And I like what you say about the sort of simplicity, but the beauty that you can find there.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what we're going to see in her costuming when she's in a maid persona and character. But talking of maids and creating character and finding family, we have confirmed Lady Araminta Gunn, Rosamund Lee and Posey Lee. So book fans, you'll recognise these three names very, very well. Just to quickly introduce these three, who we will hear from and see from a lot more, I have no doubt. Araminta, twice married and twice widowed. She has 2 daughters debuting on the marriage mart this season, and she's feeling the pressure to get at least one of her girls married off. She's fabulous, discerning and blunt, and she does not respond well when anything or anyone threatens her standing in society. And she is played by Katie Lung, who is very known to many people as playing Cho Chang in Harry Potter. And I'm telling you now, this casting has caused so many millennials to have a crisis about their ages. In the Regency, it's totally realistic that Araminta would have daughters at that age. So try not to spiral too much. And then Rosamund will be played by Michelle Mao. Described as beautiful, vain, and eager to please her mother, she is Araminta's eldest daughter and most prized possession, and she sets her sights on Benedict this social season.
Whoa, okay.
And just like her mother, Rosamund is determined to get what she wants. And then we have the younger sister, Posey, who is played by Isabella Way. She is the younger, kinder sister who is also debuting this year. Araminta rarely puts a spotlight on her second child, but Posey's chatty, overly friendly demeanour often has her putting her foot in her mouth, so she's very sweet. So do you know what relationships these three characters have with Sophie? I'm trying to gauge how much you do and don't know.
I think you guys have talked about it in the chat, but I just haven't paid attention.
You haven't paid attention. Well, I won't spoil it too much. This is the family that Sophie will be working for when we originally find her.
Okay.
And then Beans. So 3 new cast members.
Yeah.
We live a new family entering, but we have some returning cast members. Of course. So I'm going to go through the list of who we've got returning. And I'm going to ask you, because again, we have so much time to dig into what we want for all these characters a lot more over the next year or 2 years or however long it's going to be.
Yeah.
I just want your initial guesses. Your profit beans, after all. I want either what you want for them in the season or what you think is going to happen for them in the season.
Okay.
So we'll start with our beloved Pollen, because how could we not? I mean, we're a Pollen podcast. Of course, Nicola and Luke are returning. What do you want to see from Pollen in season 4?
Okay, season 4. I want them to be happy.
That would be a start.
I think that it's probably going to delve more into Lady Whistledown and
I hope so.
her trying to keep up having this column while also being known in society. Yeah.
Because that's a really interesting dynamic. And Julie Andrews is returning as the voice of Lady Whistledown. We saw at the end of season 3 that Penn is taking Whistledown in a new direction.
Right.
It's a lighter way to carry Whistledown forward. But ultimately, I hope as well that there's unresolved tension there with the Queen. And them two have to have a continued showdown at some point.
Yeah.
Whilst Penn grapples with having her voice but refining it and going forward in society with a society who knows who she is. And I would like Whistledown to still play a role in Banofi's story somehow, even though it was slightly changed. But I agree, I want them happy. I also feel like they're going to be a big source of comedic relief because we know that Polly Walker and Lorraine Ashbourne, so Portia and Mrs. Varley, are both returning.
Yep.
Do we think they're going to live with Pollen in Featherington House and the unnamed baby?
Oh, yes. Yes, I really do.
And then it'll just be great comedy.
Yeah. I'm two ways about it. I either think that we're not going to see them as much as we think we're going to see them, which I think would be true anyway.
That's what we kind of have to expect.
That's just the nature of the show. And two, I'm also like, at the same time though, since there are ends of their Lady Whistledown isn't completely wrapped up, it might be Polly Walker, Portia coming in to try to be like, oh, I can help with the business side of things.
Yeah, can you imagine her getting involved? Or like Colin and Portia having it out over the ledgers.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit of a storyline for them with Whistledown. Pollen against the world. Colin still writing. Colin supporting Penn.
Yeah.
But also, I'd be happy to see them just in like comedic relief roles as well, because any Pollen is a good Pollen.
Yeah.
So we're having some siblings return. We've got Jonathan Bailey as Anthony Bridgerton. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to him in a minute. Claudia Jessie as Eloise. We've got Florence Hunt back as Hyacinth and Will as Gregory. I've seen a couple of people wonder if Gregory's going to go to Eton, whether we're actually going to see him that much. I'm hoping it's one of those Bridgerton timeline things where like he just doesn't go and no, it's never addressed or it's never explained.
Or it's just like we have a time jump and it's like, oh yeah, he went to Eton, or they like have a weird way of explaining it.
Well, I don't think there can be that much of time. Well, there could be, but Eloise said that the masquerade ball was next year.
Okay.
So the masquerade ball is definitely taking place the next year.
Maybe he just gets time off.
In the book, there is a 2-year time gap between the masquerade and Benedict finding Sophie. So I don't know if they're going to incorporate that into one season.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, the whole show is moving to autumn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see a Christmas episode of Bridgerton. How cool would that be?
I know.
I just want the family scenes and the family chaos.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to do that because...
Well, yeah, we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, we'll go back to that thought.
I would still pay any amount of Netflix subscription.
I would love a Christmas special. Like, you know how Call the Midwife does Christmas specials?
With absolutely no stakes at all.
Exactly.
The highest stake is like someone's misplaced a present.
Yeah, or it's like they do that and then the Christmas special is just like gives you a hint at who the next character is, but not too much. You know, at the end it's all happy.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got some siblings. We'll dip into a couple of them in a minute. We have Marcus Anderson is returning.
Yes.
He's getting in the tractor. He's ploughing the field because also, of course, Violet is returning. Do you think they're going to continue their courtship?
I think they're going to continue to do it over a couple of seasons. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get married just yet, but I think that's where they're going.
I am totally all into Bridgerton evolving their world by keeping the same characters in, then constantly like having some in, some out.
Yeah, because that's, I think, what we love so much, especially with the family.
Yes.
But Lady Danbury is also returning, of course. How could we have a season but Adua?
Right.
I hope she has a love interest at some point. It might not be this season, but I would love for her to have a love interest.
Me too.
We also have some future love interests returning. So we have the Sterlings. So John, Michaela and Francesca are all going to be back. Do you think we're going to head to Scotland? Do you think they're going to come back down for the season? Might we spend a bit of time in Scotland and a bit of time in the Tom?
Maybe. Well, because we're not going to be there during like the love match season, right? It's going to be in fall.
Well, they say that, but then I think it's going to be those Bridgerton time jump things, because in the description of Araminta, it's talking about her 2 daughters are debuting in society. So I think they might just forget about that's been in April. Do you know what I mean? But it's going to be in autumn.
Yeah. Well, maybe also because, I mean, the Featherington girls married in the off season. So maybe they're coming to the Ton and they weren't there before. Yeah. Like it's a Sharma situation again.
We've got the Queen and Brimsley, Alice and Will.
Yep.
So we were expecting to have the Mondriches back, but Beans, there was a line that says, you can expect to glimpse more of two already beloved Bridgerton characters. Emma Naomi, who plays Alice Mondrich, and Hugh Sachs, who plays Brimsley, will both be part of season 4's main cast. What do you think of that?
Interesting. I already felt like they were part of the main cast in season 3, so I'm not particularly surprised about the Mondriches specifically. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, their stuff should have been tied up. I don't think it was tied up in season 3. Like, they still have so much more that they have to discover. I think we've made a prediction that one of their kids is going to become either like a love interest to one of the younger Bridgertons or become an ally and a friend to them as well. So I don't think that they're done.
I've seen some speculation about Alice's role because it's specifically Alice, not Alice and Will.
Well, Will's already a main character, I suppose, so this would be adding him too.
I've seen people wonder about Alice being... So, again, a book spoiler, but Benedict rescues Sophie from a situation and he brings her into the employment of the Bridgerton family.
Oh, maybe. Maybe instead they go to the Mondriches.
Because Ben has been friends. They had that established relationship with Will and Alice. And he welcomed them into the Ton. I've seen people wonder if the reason that Alice is going to have a more prominent role is because she is going to be... We're going to see her in scenes with Sophie a lot.
Yeah.
And then Brimsley, I've seen people wonder if Brimsley's going to be involved in like the Pen and the Queen storylines.
Maybe.
I would like for his storyline from Queen Charlotte to be picked back up with his love story.
I know. Unless his love interest died. Maybe he'll get a new love interest.
Don't say that. I just think he went on a really long holiday. So there's a couple of points to pick up from that list of cast. Most importantly, it does say that that's the confirmed list so far. So that doesn't mean that that's the exhaustive list. It doesn't mean that they're not holding things back. But there are a couple of things that people have noticed. So there are no Finches or Dankworths. And it did kind of feel like they were saying goodbye in a way at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to see them in future. I want season 8 just to be absolute fucking chaos. Just bring back literally every single person who's ever been in the show.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you could have some really good, funny side plots with the Dankworths or the Finches or something like that. You could with a lot of people that have been in the show. So
I'd like them back eventually, but they had such a good story in season 3 that I feel like what we got was really good, you know? But no Cowpers. I was surprised by that. Does that mean that we're not getting a Cressida redemption arc? Do you think she might come back for Eloise this season? Do you think we're never going to see her again? Do you think they may be just not telling us that they're back and they're going to be involved in some sort of twist?
I think it could be they're not telling us that they're back, but also I could see them coming back for Eloise's season.
Yeah.
At the same time.
She's going away to Wales for a bit.
Yeah. And then she comes back and it's like maybe she got married, she has a husband, her husband died or something like that, and now she's back on the marriage mart or something.
So hopefully we'll see her again because, I mean, Jess Madsen did such a good job with Cressida.
I know, yeah.
But then I think the one name that really took everyone by surprise was, as we speak, Simone Ashley is not part of that confirmed list. Does that mean there's no Kate in season 4?
I think, yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, it would be so gutting.
Me too. Especially given her comments, I think, was it to People or someone where she said she'd love to come back if they'll have her?
Yeah, and she's described herself as a Bridgerton girl previously.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, this was kind of one of the more upsetting things about the casting release is that I think a lot of us feel like it was such a missed opportunity, and it is such a missed opportunity to just sort of cast aside the family of the Bridgertons because that's the reason why we came to the show. We love the dynamic and everything. And Kate could honestly have a really good storyline in the household, being head of the house and everything as a Bridgerton woman.
I think we had that with Daphne and Simon where we knew that Simon wasn't coming back and we had Daphne in season 2, but I still would have loved her in season 3 because, again, some of our favourite scenes are the family scenes.
I would love Daphne back.
But I'd love her back as well. It is difficult with scheduling, but I would like to see, if Anthony can't be around, I'd like to see Kate still be there and be like, oh, he's, I don't know, gone to Aubrey Hall to fix a fucking leaky roof, or he's in the House of Lords doing his actual voting.
Kate can have a significant plot on her own because she is a Bridgerton, so she's allowed to have that. And I just, I'd love to see her kind of butt heads a little bit with Violet on like how to run the house and things like that.
Which makes Violet in turn think about her own role in family and her own future and what she wants.
That's what I was gonna say.
Having the burden taken away from her of, you don't have to look after everything.
Right, and then it would make sense for her to start to open her heart and look for romance.
Well, fingers crossed we do get an appearance from Kate.
Yeah.
I would say it's not an exhaustive list. It does specifically say this is the list so far. We will keep you updated. The last thing I want to touch on, we do know that in past seasons, production have withheld surprises.
Yeah.
They attempted to keep it secret about Michaela and John, so we didn't know about Michaela.
Yeah, no, we didn't at all.
Fans had guessed about John, but those were two cast members that hadn't been confirmed at all because they wanted that to be a surprise in the story. And then Sir Philip in season 1 and season 2, he wasn't confirmed.
Yeah.
With Sir Philip, do you think we're going to see Sir Philip in season 4? We had a feeling he wasn't going to be in season 3. Do you think because if season 5 is going to be Eloise's and she's going on her journey just before her season, she's in Scotland, she's lonely, do you think Philip might be made a widow by Marina's death?
Yeah.
And we see him maybe even very late on in the season.
Maybe.
And sowing the seeds for Eloise's season. Flower pun not intended.
Maybe Eloise is with Penn and they receive a letter from Philip because they would have to do something.
Yeah, one of those things where we know the significance if you've read the books. It's like the masquerade comment in season 3.
Yeah.
As soon as we heard that, I was like, oh, okay, so casting to be confirmed. We'll keep our eyes and ears peeled. The other exciting news from the announcement is that Bridgerton has expanded its filming locations into a newly constructed lot at Shepperton.
Yep, that's right.
And those were where those photos were taken of Yerin and Luke. So you saw those Regency streets. What does this mean, Crumb's Queen Beans, for the future of the show?
It most likely means that they are looking to the future of having more seasons of Bridgerton because they're recreating sets that you would normally see where they do on location shoots and everything. What this does mean also is that we probably won't get as many like crumbs because they'll be shooting at Shepperton Studios, which is probably what they wanted because they don't want so many leaks. But then we get one like 3 days into shooting anyway.
The tradition continues.
It's good news because it seems like they're installing a permanent set for Bridgerton.
They're investing in the show.
Yeah, they're investing in the show, which is good for fans of other ships and future seasons. Bad news is we might not get as many crumbs as we normally do, or we might not hear of as many crumbs like we did in season 3.
But speaking of crumbs, feels like tradition. Season 2 had those races leaks. Season 3, Pirate Colin, need we say more? We have the first leaks from season 4. And oh my God, what a way to start. It's the bloody masquerade, mate. It's the bloody masquerade.
I know.
Benedict and Sophie with the little masks on.
Yep.
Running down the stairs together. First of all, we think this was filmed at Ham House.
Yep. One of our listeners sent us pictures comparing the bushes.
Classic.
I don't know. It's a very pivotal scene. I can't believe it. Like, it's one of the most important scenes. Obviously, it's like one of the first scenes in the series that we would be seeing anyways. They are filming episodes 1 and 2 now. And so, yeah, it's really great. She's dressed in silver. Benedict is in a tiny black flimsy mask that I cannot get over. I literally said to the girls today when they sent it, I was like, that's his mask. I thought it was going to be something way different. It's giving Zorro is what some people are saying. Some people are saying Princess Bride.
Yes, Princess Bride, definitely.
Yeah.
To be fair, in the books, Benedict really doesn't give a shit about going. It's kind of in the show that we saw. He was like, fine, I'll go. And he doesn't really want to go. So it's one of those like really like low effort kind of like, oh, if I have to. It just reminds me of British millennials. Did you learn how to use the letter E and draw the letter E by a cat dressed up as Zorro? Because I definitely did. And I don't know what show that was, but that's all I can think of when I look at Benedict. Do you know
yes,
what I mean?
What
it's
is
like
that
a
from?
Cat. What is it? And so when I look at him, I'm like, oh, Benedict, you just remind me of a cat who taught me. And I just remember like how to do your joined up E's. That's all I remember. So that's not quite what I thought Benedict was going to look like, but that cat changed my life. So maybe Benedict can change my life as well.
Oh my God, what is that from?
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I see it in my head distinctly.
I don't know. Listeners, let us know. I'm sure we'll do the research by then. Beans, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, this is Beans and Obs after recording. We would just like to clarify that we've Googled.
Yep. It's El Nombre, a gerbil.
Mexican gerbil. I'm sorry, he wasn't a cat. He was a Mexican gerbil. I kind of think I had a little bit of a crush on him.
Really?
My first love, interesting fact, was Flick from A Bug's Life.
My first love, I'm trying to think. I don't think I had any, like, Animal Crush characters, I'm going to be honest.
Did El Nombre not? No. Is he not good enough for you, apparently?
No, I believe mine was Prince Eric, or it was Aladdin. I think I had Aladdin. A big crush on Aladdin.
Yeah, what a guy. El Nombre, incredible gerbil.
Thank you so much for your...
Yeah, thank you so much, El Nombre. This episode is dedicated
to you.
So he is dressed in a very, like, black, leathery pirate illusions, I'd say.
Taking some inspiration.
And then, of course, Sophie in her lovely silver dress. She has her mask on. I can't believe we can actually see Sophie at the masquerade. And they're filmed running down the stairs together.
I'm sorry, but it's crazy how good these pictures are. Like, of course.
Do you think it was maybe leaked on purpose to get us all excited?
Yeah.
They're so good. And there's one point where it looks like Luke Thompson's looking at the camera, but that might just be him looking in the general direction.
I mean, they're blurry, but they're like...
They're perfect. And they're the scene.
Yeah.
So we see them running down the stairs. He's pulling her glove off her hand, or he has his hand on gloves. And then we see them in this garden scene. It looks very Cinderella story, although...
It really does.
Zorro was... her friend, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I've kind of got this cat that taught me how to use the alphabet, and then I've got is it Gordo? No, it's not Gordo. That's from fucking Lizzie McGuire. I can't remember the best friend's name from A Cinderella Story. He was dressed as Zorro. So like, what's happening?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Oh my god.
And they're just so surreal. They're kind of blurry,
but they're not as blurry as the bullshit we would get.
We have seen blurs in our time, I tell you now. This is high quality.
Yeah, this is high quality blurs.
Our season was like, do you know when you try and take a picture of the moon on your phone, you're like, oh my god, that moon.
Yeah.
And it comes out as like a little blurry dot.
A little dot.
And then the next day, you're on the internet and you see NASA have posted a fucking photo of deep space looking radiant. And you're like, excuse me?
Exactly. What the fuck is this?
And that moon's there and I can't get a decent fucking picture. Are you joking me? Filming weeks have begun. Beans, is this what we can expect every day of the week for the next 8 months?
No, absolutely not. Listen, I will say that it's like so interesting taking a backseat this season, mostly because I'm just busy. And so I'm very appreciative of everybody else in the community that's really going into this. But yeah, there'll be weeks where you get nothing at all. And as someone who wrote the Crumbs, I would do a Crumbs column.
Keeping that Colin in.
Yeah, on the Pollen subreddit. I'd be like, we haven't really got much this week.
Oh, the things we did to occupy ourselves.
I know.
And we do tend to get like a good leap that sustains us through the dark day.
Yeah.
So call of this fun up, so called this news up. I would class this as like the information age.
Right.
And we're about to head into the fucking dark ages, babe, as you well know.
Oh, for sure.
But we'll be here, won't we, babe?
Yeah.
However, we won't be doing a Crumbs episode every single time a leak drops.
No.
And, we've got so much time. Our focus still remains on Pollen, and our focus mainly is on our season 3 rewatch. So we're busy editing our 3-hour-long rewatch of season 3.
It was 4 hours. I'm sorry, it was 4.
So that's our focus. And maybe we've got some other things planned, Beans.
If you guys are Patreon followers, for each episode for the rewatch, I do a special recipe that reminds me of the episode.
Babe, that is not what I was talking about at all.
You should get excited for it.
Get excited for Beans' recipes. We also maybe have some other things planned. But in the meantime, can you fill in for the others? Where can everyone find us?
Yes, you can find us at What a Barb Pod on Instagram and YouTube, I think.
Well done. And if you would like to support the pod, you can join us over on Patreon at What a Barb Pod. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for everyone who's joined us over there.
I just got the login for everything, so I will respond to your comments.
I'm back off holiday, so we're good to go. And we have discussion posts after every podcast episode for our pen pal tier. So come on over, share your thoughts about everything we've discussed today. Until then, Beans, sing us out.
This is what dreams are made of. Hey now, what dreams.
It wasn't even the bloody Lizzie McGuire movie, babe, but we'll go for it.
Das violin. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.